Good Morning Kenya continues. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Vivian Dagwa, and right about now we get into our Family Check segment. And today on Family Check, we are talking about quality time and finding time to spend with your family, especially during the season that we are in right now. You know, the children are at home. We've kept saying that since last month. Yes, they are at home and we are getting into the festivities. So what is the best way to ensure that you are spending quality time with your family at home? And joining me for this conversation is a counseling psychologist. His name is Cleopa Njiru. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us today on this conversation. So we have all the time to get into it. Maybe if we can just begin by, you know, for you, when we talk about spending quality time, what does that look like for you?
Okay. Maybe I could start by saying that every family, mine and yours, and of the audience, the person who is listening to us, is going through a kind of a struggle. And this struggle can also be seen by the young people, the pleasures that they have to go through, and the pain that people carry because of the pressures that they have to go in daily life. So for us to now, during this festival season, to be able to live and somehow be happy, make for our families, avoid distress, then quality time. And quality time is what you do, the way you talk, the kind of things you do as a family. All these things, there's a lot of research and people have researched about it. And that is what now for me, because I have been supporting people. People who come to me for counseling, either as an individual one-to-one. Sometimes I deal with families, couples, and couples of people who are professionals, who are dealing with high demanding jobs, who are in corporate world. All these people are the people that I have been working with for the last 40 years. And so as I discuss with them, sometimes people think it's big things, but simple things that makes a happy family, and that means the spending of quality time. That is the presence. When you are present, not perfection, but just being present.
Just being present. And you know, you've talked about the pressures of the world right now. And specifically, I want us to look at, you know, for the side of the parents or the guardians. As much as we're saying that, yes, schools have closed, but remember, parents are still going to work. People are still working at the moment. So what's the best way to go about just balancing that time? You know, balancing you working on your goals, you working on your professional goals as well, you ensuring that you are, you know, present in terms of the work that you're supposed to do, as well as not forgetting to spend time with the children back at home and the family at large. Is there a way to balance the two?
Looking at the kind of work we do, especially for me as a family therapist, we look at some of the people who have studied things to do with family. And most of them, they say family is a system. The emotions, the way one person who is annoyed can now cause problems to the whole family. So one way of spending time and one way of ensuring, despite the fact that we are busy at work, the 10-15 minutes you get after work, the quality of that time. Like if you change, you are coming, you've been tired, you've gone through a lot of things, but if you remain calm, composed, and talk to the family in a different way, be aware of the patterns, how you have disrupted your family, or how you've gotten annoyed in the past. If you change, one person in the family changes, it becomes a change for the whole family. So even if we are in busy schedules, even if we are working, then when we come and meet with the family, then what we do with the family changes the whole family. Yes.
So there's a huge difference between quality time and quantity time.
For sure.
If you can just get into that, like, is there one that matters more than the other, or do both of them matter when it comes to the quality and the quantity?
The quality is the things you do. And that's why there are also some people who have studied the patterns the things you repeat as a family. Those things that can cause conflict, that can make the conflict go high. So if you stand there and as a family you reflect what has been happening, like right now we are in the festival season.
Yeah.
If you can recall as a parent, as a father, as a mother, you ask yourself, what happened last Christmas? When we went for the holiday, what is it that we did that caused a conflict? How did we handle that conflict? Those are some of the patterns that sometimes we repeat. So quality time means, as a parent, you are helped and you think of, how can I change? And there are few things like, how do you handle criticism? Because you see, in families, people will criticize each other most of the time, or defensiveness. Are you always defensive? When asked something, even about money or about where are we going for our holiday, and then some things like content, you feel like you are not happy with your partner, with a family member, or sometimes keeping quiet, silence. You know, the things we call like stonewalling. You know, those are the patterns that people need to reflect, especially this time. So 10 to 15 minutes, while you are trying to minimize those patterns, that helps the family. That is quality time. You can stay all day together, but that day is full of distractions. You are always finding fault to one another. You are always quarreling with one another. So you are not spending quality time together.
I get you. So quality time is more important. You know, you can have quantity time, you can be in the house all the time, but you are not intentional about prioritizing what you are doing with this time with your family in the house, you know, with the children. So I get you on that. And what's the importance of just ensuring that you are prioritizing or intentionally prioritizing spending quality time with your family?
The first thing is we realize, like we started saying, there is a lot of stress, money issues, children have closed the schools, the young people are going through a lot of pressures. So there is so much that goes on in the family. So the importance is you bring calm, and emotions are raw, and then you are preparing your children for the future. Even yourself, you remain happy. If you are a busy professional, you get a place to go and rest. So it is healthy for every person in that family. So when you become intentional, you know you are doing that for your own sake and for the sake of the family. And that's where a few techniques like learning to say no to other engagement. You know, people will be invited to do so many things. So intentional means you are learning things that would help you to be with the family and be focused with the family. And so all the people in the relationships, because when we talk about family, we are also looking at other relationships that you have. So you need to be very intentional in what you do. And these are some of the things we slowly help people when they come, or when we are talking like this. I hope there's someone who is getting something, saying, wow, I never knew that, and I've been doing that. So the joy and happiness of being together, and more so helping one to cope with the stresses and the things that are going in life. I
want us to get to talk about, you know, as we are commemorating World AIDS Day, today, the 1st of December, the statistics shows that, you know, the number of new infections, of HIV infections, are mainly among the teenagers. You know, from the age of 15 to 19, the number is quite high. Maybe is this also the proper time for the family, you know, in the house, in your nuclear family, just in the house, to ensure that you are also creating time for talk? You know, and by talk, I mean now sitting your teenagers down, sitting your young people in the house down, just to talk about sex education. And I know sometimes it's a difficult conversation for parents, but maybe if you can talk a bit about it.
It all starts with the kind of relationship you have with your children. They start from when the children are being breastfed, when they are growing up. Like, you remember the age of 4 to 5, that's the time young people start getting curious about who they are as boys and girls. So for those parents who are already having the 4 to 5, this is the right time. When they ask the questions, how do you answer those questions? So you start preparing them for puberty or adolescents. Those parents who maybe they did not prepare that and they find now they are in puberty, adolescence, and they can see the behaviors of the children, then they need to establish a healthy relationship, how they talk to each other, especially during this time that they are together. And as I keep on repeating, 10 to 15 minutes. Like the way you ask questions, the way you bring in the topic of who you are, because sex is a state of being a male or a female. Sexuality is how you express that. So how you bring that topic in a way of tell me what you know. Because our young people, they are so much informed. They know everything.
That's true.
Yet as parents, we think we are teaching them. Tell them to teach you. And when you give that room of being able to, first of all, deal with the emotions like fear, like anxiety, try to bond with them so that there is that security. You know, we start when people are young, we create an anxious attachment board that when they say something, there is the way as a parent you react. So this is the time for you to express yourself as a parent, as an elder, in a calm, composed way. A way that you are not threatening, you are not teaching. You want both of you to start talking. And the young people will tell you everything, even about HIV/AIDS, about pregnancy, if you give them space to say. But the thing is, we have to create that quality time, that way of being able to communicate and to talk to each other. Like the way if you face it, a therapist like me, the first thing is how I welcome you, how I introduce the topic, how I structure. Because like coming to me, I need to come up with a structure. And then I have to have evidence-based, or a way I can prove what I am saying. I already have done some research. So parent also, caregivers, even when you have a caregiver who you are leaving your child with, educate them. Give them some ways of going to the internet to read more, or even attending sessions with expert family therapists or marriage therapists to get more and accurate information. Because young people are intelligent.
That's true.
If you just tell them anything, so for us to help in the fight, like I was there in 1998 when HIV/AIDS was serious, a disaster. What did we do? We went around to the offices, to corporate, to families, giving education, giving the right information and correct information. That's what parents need to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've said, you know, when we talk about, you know, the conversation that we're talking about in matters, you know, sex education, the best time to start is early enough, from the age of 4. So for parents who are watching us right now, they should know that, you know, from the age of 4, start talking to your child about sex education. And maybe for those who are not very open or a bit shy to get to talk about it with the children who are now in the puberty stage and all, is there a way you can advise them in how to start, you know, how to start the conversation for those who've never really touched on it at all with their children?
May I say something? Sex education is never taught. You don't teach people. It is caught. The children, even a breastfeeding, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, they are observing and watching what is happening in the world, elders, what they are doing, the people who are older. So from birth, children have been learning matters to do with human sexuality. So that's the first thing. The other thing is what we do now informs of what we tell them. If now we are talking about adolescents, people in puberty, the kind of conversation is to help them understand the changes that they are going through. And you know the challenge, we focus on physical changes. We focus only on physical. But the changes that are happening, they're emotional. They are changing the way they feel. Sometimes they feel annoyed, sometimes they feel excited. You need to understand what are the reasons for these emotions. And then as an adult, then we need to change that. The way we react, the way we feel, all that helps the young people we are dealing with to change. They are also asking questions about spirituality, about God, about their purpose in life. So when we started discussing those topics, we are also touching the whole issue of human sexuality. Then their thinking process, their thoughts, what are they thinking? So all these are all combined. So when we are thinking of helping our young people, at whatever age, let us think in terms of their feelings, their thoughts, their behaviors, and what they can see out there. Like find out from them, what do they know about house parties? What happens there? You know, that way they can come and bring you home. Like there are some alcohol, sometimes you get drugs in. When you get alcohol, yes, allow them to be open, to tell you what they know. It's not you giving a lecture. It's an engagement, a relationship between two people who understand, respect them, and know they already know something. And so when you engage them that way, then they will be able to bring out, then correct. And the presence is that one, not you are perfect. Even you say, even me, I went through this. Sometimes I also go through challenges, and I am able to overcome them when I do 1, 2, 3, because you are teaching who you are as a man or a female. So human sexuality is about us. And so you also need to work on yourself, look at your past and see, where did you go wrong? What areas would you want also to improve on? Because when you improve, you are helping them to run from you. Yes.
So this is the best time to bring your children closer to you, now that they are not engaged with school. You know, for those who are in primary school, they're back home. For those who are in high school, same thing. And you know, it's the time of the festivities. So even the ones who are just joining university or had just joined are also going to be home pretty soon. So this is the time would you advise, for a parent who's watching us right now, would you advise them that this is actually the best time to bring them close? Because, you know, most times when they are not home, you see them very, you know, in such a limited time. Wale ambao wako boarding, they're in boarding schools, you only get to see them for a very short period of time. So is this the best time to ensure that you bring them as close as you can and getting to know them more, you know, because they keep changing. So you need to keep changing with your child as they grow. So maybe you can speak a bit on that, on just ensuring that you're bringing them closer. You know, give them space to come closer to you. You know, cutting that fear of, hey, huyo ni mzazi, kuna vitu sifai kumwambia. You know,
Yeah, this is actually the best time. And there are things that are attracting young people. And sometimes parents are fighting those things that can help them to be even more closer. Like, for instance, the use of technology. If you can just engage them for 10 minutes to find out what do they know, then you ask them, what kind of programs do you watch? Or what would you want us to watch? And then you can introduce some programs that can bring in teaching by themselves. So when they know that you are also helping them to know how to use certain things in technology, those 10 minutes can open up the discussion. So as you say rightly, we don't have time with our children. And if you have 10 minutes from your busy day, 15 minutes, then you can have some rules in the family. Some of the rules and boundaries. Setting boundaries is like having 1 hour out of technology. You see, for now, we are going to have this ritual. Is it possible that we can keep off our phones for 10 or 15 minutes just to come to know each other? And I want to tell you a story about myself and what I go through on a daily basis, and know how to ask the right questions, how to bring a conversation. So then stating some roles in the family. You come and say, you know, I have been like this, but I feel as a parent, as a mother, I would want to change. What would you like me to do differently? You know, you're already helping them to start that conversation. So this is the right time, as you say, that parent can look for all ways, even researching. Like now we have several ways of researching, using like the AI, not as a therapist, but a source of information, so that you may know as a parent, how would I bring in this kind of topics in a better way? So if you know how to use technology, it can help us to bridge that gap. And then knowing the person, authentic person, not really what you think. So you reason, like learning a few things, observing your child, reasoning, and being able to even ask yourself, when my child says this way, how do I respond? You know, these are simple things that we can learn as parents during this time. And not only the parent, even the people who interact with your children. Like if you have nieces, cousins, they will hear you more, and you'll be able to change them more if only we all know our children and our next generation is looking upon us as those people who have already lived, so that we can be able to guide them, know them, even knowing their fears, knowing their challenges, and trying to change. And I still repeat what one of the people who studied family systems says, a change in one person, a change in a parent, a change even in a young person who is looking at me, it will mean a change to the whole system, the whole emotions of what is happening. If you have been fearing each other, if you have been feeling ashamed, embarrassed in the presence of each other, when one person now changes, and that's why when you go and reason to someone talking, like the way we are talking, then that change in you will mean a change in the whole system. And so this is the right time to change. And the beginning is not the children, but ourselves. We bring ourselves to their level. We also know how do we use the available resources so that we can be able to become good mentors, good parents. And then the other thing is, you cannot have everything. There are some organizations, some churches, some institutions like counseling who have prepared certain things for young people. If you find one that fits with your values, what you teach, what you want to give to the children, invest in it. Even if it means it would be more cost effective if you give a certain amount for your child to meet an expert than just to keep quiet. Because you see, expert will be able to tell, these are the information we need to give, this is how we need to give it. So even knowing the expert, the background, what have they studied, what information they going to give to your children? And you can even invite relatives. You can then tell them to go to grandma, who you know will also give something to the child. So all these are the things that we can do as parents, because it's not only us. We also need to involve other people, the resources we have around ourselves.
Yeah, and I love that. Is there a way that we can tell, or are there signs that one can tell that, okay, maybe I have not been spending quality time with my people. Maybe I have been neglecting, you know, my children or you know, something of the sort, or I've been neglecting some people in the family. Are there signs to tell?
Yeah, simple things. When you get into the house, what happens? If you have been present and people are feeling comfortable with you, they'll come and greet you. Have a cup of tea. How was your day? You know, those are observable things you can observe. But what happens when you get into the house and everybody, you are asking, where is everybody? Because the moment they had your car,
they
all went their own ways. You know, it's just like chicken. If you press some heat here, when you see the chicken surrounding, that means there is retro warmth in the room, and that's why they are surrounding the source of the heat. If you see them going very far, that means the place is very hot. So you need to regulate. When you see them walking around, eating and jumping, then there is peace.
So you can easily tell.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's something observable. Then you reason to what they tell you. And you see what they are telling you. If they are coming to inform you, we are having this and this function in the church, or there is this friend of mine who is having this, and they can come and openly tell you, or even share with you. You know, this friend of ours, they had a party, this and this happened. So you know, as a parent, you have already helped them to feel free with you, and they can easily share with you. So what you talk with them, how they talk to you, the kind of information they give you, all that tells you that you have established a healthy relationship with your children. Then conflict, how you resolve. Even when a child has done something, if the child is the one to come and tell you, even before you ask, you know, mom, you know, dad, you know, and because we are talking about children living with either their families or living with their relatives because of the situations that we are finding today, you find even before you discover something, it is the child who is coming to tell you, I did this and this. It was a big mistake and I ask for your forgiveness. And even the way they start talking about it. So even when there are problems, you can be able to tell the pattern, the way you fight with each other. Fighting is not really fighting, but how you talk to each other even when there are problems. So you can be able to tell all these things in the manner of behavior, even the thought, the way they will come and tell me, I've been thinking of doing 1, 2, 3. Would you support me in this? Their emotions. You see someone who is always quiet, rocking themselves into their rooms. How all evening you come, someone takes their food, goes to the room. You know, those are behaviors that you can be able to tell here, I need to do something. And that is where now you may need to ask, if I'm not able to get a breakthrough, who else can do that for me? Because you already have experts and people around you, either a relative, an expert, who can be able to help you do that.
Okay. So for the parent who's watching us right now, and maybe this is the case for them, you know, they are the sort of parents, you know, they're that dad who comes home and everyone, you know, goes their way, or mother as well. You know, you get to the house and no one really is paying attention to you being there and all of that. Maybe you've not been giving them enough time, so now they're also just reciprocating. You know, they just know, mama taki kuja ananga shughuli na mtu. So it's never too late, that's what you're saying. So maybe where to begin?
The first, begin with ourselves. We are all going through a lot of pain. We've gone through traumatic experiences in our past. Let us be humble enough to say, before I give, I need to take care of myself. Because you cannot give from an empty space.
Yes, you can't
you
pour from an empty
have to first of all come to yourself as a person. Then if you are in a relationship, whatever kind of relationship, whether it is marriage, I hear young people telling me we are in partnership, whatever you are in, how is that relationship going on? Your own place of work, how are your interactions with the people that you are working with? So start first with yourself. Find out what you can do. If it is too much, if the pain is too much, then look for resources. Look for people who have the expertise, who can be able to help you go through that. Then from there, I wish one day we can have a school of parenting, like the way I'm just talking. Because right now, I'm giving information from 40 years of interacting with individuals, interacting with the families in different forums, even when I'm giving talks. So all what I'm giving, and then research, reading. Because like for me, it's not just my own personal experience. It is going to school and all that. That is what prepares you to become a parent. So even parents need to invest a little bit their time, their resources, so that they can learn how to become good parent. And we have a lot of available resources around us. So that is the starting point. The second is you are an educator. And you are educating young children, you are educating adolescents, young adults. Learn how do educators educate. You are a coach, you are a counselor, you are a trainer. You occupy all those positions when you have young people who you are staying with. And not only them, even the people that you are working with, the person who is managing your home on your behalf when you go to work. All those people are so important. So the starting point is ourselves. Then when we have something, learn how do I give it to the others in a more structured, evidence-based way. Just don't do things haphazardly, because we really need to get it right. Even if we have not been doing right in the past, we still have a chance. Everything is not lost. Yes.
And I want us to just look at the same now from the child's perspective, because we've looked at, you know, for that parent who is now realizing, okay, I have not been there, you know, for my children. I've not been present, and you know, now you've mentioned what to do. Now, what of that child who is in the house, always feels neglected? What about that child? What to do with that one who's feeling nobody really cares about me in this home? You know, very neglected and all?
Let me start by saying science has really grown. When you look at what is happening around us, you'll be amazed. Would you believe that we have, even in Kenya, child therapists, people who are helping infants, breastfeeding, and they help those children, they empower them, even if they are in a world where the people who are parenting them, they are not doing the right thing. They go and see someone who helps that child, an infant. The same thing with all the children who are listening to me. You have also the capacity to change yourself. You may not even need someone for now, but there are certain things that you need to talk to someone, especially when you have gone through a lot of pain, when you have gone through a lot of trauma, and you don't necessarily have to keep quiet. Any young person who is listening to us today, in schools we have experts, we have counselors. Around us we have parents who you can see, this parent, the way they talk to us, they know what they are doing. So even if in your circumstance as a young person, you do not have someone who is helping you, you still have the capacity, you still have the opportunity to say something to a neighbor, to say someone in the school, to go to church and reason when children are being taught. So all these things, you do not have to rely with your parent alone. When I look back to my own journey, much of what I did as a young person was not necessarily from my parent. It was for me going out and meeting other people in the church, in the community. And I can say a lot of my formation of who I am today comes from a whole process of many years where I have allowed myself to be among people who can change me. So the young person who is listening to me, you still have the opportunity to look for a way. And then for the people who can support these children, they also can see this child, the kind of family situation. Like for instance, if I'm not saying, but I'm saying there are those people who are already addicted. And the villagers can see that. Because this is a father who is coming home, saying things, doing things that would interfere with the growth process of these children. As good neighbors, we only sit down and watch. But there is those who make a step. How can we help these children? Because the family environment, the way the father, the mother, the behavior is not okay for these children. And we have people who have gone out of their way to look for ways of supporting those children. And those children who are listening to me, and they know that they are in an environment where what we have been talking is not happening, then they also have the power to change their lives. Because whatever is happening around you cannot determine who you'll become. It's you to make a choice. And to say, yes, I'm young, I'm a child, and I want to live a good, honest, pure life. So how do I get the person who can help me? And I tell you, there are some professionals, because like ethically, we are supposed to help anyone who comes to us. So I will not say this child is coming to me. How do I help the child? I will even leave an elder there and go to the child, because I know I'm preparing the future generation. Because the children, when they are well prepared, then 10 years to come, 20 years to come, we shall have a new generation. So let them not just keep to themselves. Let them go out. And we have some toll-free line numbers. If they go and ask, there are those numbers they can call, especially if the home environment is not very good for them, and they can have people who can come and support them.
Yeah. All right. By the end of the conversation, which we are about to actually get to that end of the conversation, maybe you may share where they can be able to find you for those who are struggling in one way or the other, matters family, and how to ensure that there's a good bond in their family. Now, as we finish up, what's the importance of creating a tradition? You know, we hear people saying, you know, this is our family tradition during Christmas. This is our family tradition during the holidays. This is our tradition every time someone has a birthday. What's the importance of having that family tradition in relation to, you know, bonding with the family and having quality time?
we have some people who have researched on that a lot, especially the family. You know, for me, being a family therapist, I really value structure, I value evidence-based things that you can know. Simple things, rituals. Rituals are like what the family can decide, especially this time. Praying together, journaling, 10 minutes of walking together, those small activities. You know, we talk about these things like mindfulness, going to enjoy nature. It's not only going, but the quality of what happens there. Then there are things like meditation. If you right now you go online and search for meditation on lane water, meditation in the forest, you see all these things are things you can do as a family, and they are so important. They can help you. So those are the things that people can do, and they can do a lot of research. Then connection, how they relate with each other, how they relate with the family, all those things are very important of creating a culture, keeping off technology, like keeping off the phone for 10, 20 minutes, having a ritual, like cooking together, inviting the children to cook chapatis, especially this time. All those are rituals that the families can have.
Can pick up, and it will help with their bonding time.
Yes.
Okay, maybe where can people find you for those who would love to get in touch with you?
Thank you so much, and I am here ready to support individuals, couples, highly professionals, those people who have work to do. They can come to my office in Upper Hill, just there within Upper Hill. I can give their contact. They can go to my Facebook page, Mental Wellness by Cleopa, Instagram, or if you look for Cleopa and Jiro Cleopa Kenya, you'll find me in all the platforms. Plus my telephone number, you send me a WhatsApp message or you call me direct, 0721 356 549. 0721 356 549.
All right.
I'll answer anyone who calls me.
Okay, thank you so much for...
And I'll give something special for anyone who calls me within the next 10, 20 minutes. A word of encouragement, 15 minutes, not something much. So anyone who will call me within the course of today, I'll just give a gift of who I am. To just say something you want to know from me.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your time this morning, and for shedding, you know, giving us your information and the knowledge that you have been able to acquire over the years matters the family. I am sure that you back at home have gotten to pick a word or two or a thing or two from what our counseling psychologists today got to share with us matters. Finding quality time to spend with your family, and for those who are already in families that are broken, where to begin and how to be able to change that. This is where we end this conversation. Thank you so very much for watching us from the time we began at 6:30 a.m. That is beginning of Good Morning Kenya till this very time where we get to say goodbye. From the entire Good Morning Kenya team, we want to wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Vivian Dagwa. See you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.